Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets media availability for Wednesday, January 6th. We'll begin with Jets goaltender Laurent Brossoit. Anyone with questions for Lauren, please use the raise hand function now, and I'll create a queue. Due to time constraints, keep it to one question each. If there's enough time at the end, you'll have the chance for another question. I'll introduce each of you and prompt you to unmute your microphone and ask your question. Everyone can use the raise hand function now, then I can get things going. Thank you. All right, let's start with Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Ken.
Thanks, Gregor. Thank you, Lauren. Hope the off season was well for you. What's a good number for potential starts in a shortened season, and how does it change your preparation with the condensed schedule for this year?
Obviously, I don't want to put a cap to, I would say, the potential a number of games I'll start. Anything can happen. But if we're talking realistically, if everything goes as according to plan, I would say more of a target for me would be 20, and obviously my play would have to, be good enough for me to earn enough starts to get to that level. And that's just a number that I just picked out of my head just as is. That's not something that I've discussed with anyone.
We'll go next to Mitchell Clinton from Jets TV. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Lauren, just curious how you're approaching a shorter camp just as a goaltender and just knowing that there's no preseason games to really get yourself warmed up to game action.
I would say camp started a month ago. I've been planning and preparing for about that much time, as seriously as I can. And as soon as I got here, I don't think I needed to increase my workload or anything like that to get ready. I'd like to think that I came prepared, and I'm feeling good so far in camp.
We'll go next to Sarah Orlesky from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, Lauren. Just wondering what your thoughts are on this all-Canadian division up here and just the way the schedule works out with seeing the same team often multiple games in a row.
I think it's going to be exciting. I've played a season similar to this when I played in the minors for Bakersfield when it was the first year that we had a California division, and we ended up playing a lot of the same teams, and there was a lot of rivalries that came about, and I think obviously that's going to happen with in the NHL and the Canadian division, and especially in a bigger spotlight and everyone being in the same country, and obviously hockey's a pretty big deal in Canada. I think it's going to raise a lot of attention, and it's going to be, I think, really fun to be a part of that.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton. Go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, had to unmute there. My mistake. Just wanted to know what your thoughts are, or rather your expectations for this year. Obviously, a condensed season. And sorry if someone asked, I came in a bit late. Just your expectations for this year, and maybe some. I don't want to call them challenges, but just playing behind a guy like Connor Hellebuck, who loves to play as many games as possible, and obviously has made a name for himself in this league.
Right. Yeah, there comes a lot of challenges when you're playing behind a Vezina winner, but. I mean, everything is, it is how you take, a situation. And I think there's a lot of positives in a situation like this. I can learn a lot from watching, a Vezina winner day to day and seeing what it takes, and seeing that I'm not that far off, and that it's quite possible, and that I get to compete, on the other side of the ice with him in practice. And, yeah, I think I like that challenge. And, if there's someone you want to end up being better than, it's probably the guy that everyone's considering to be the best right now.
And we'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks, Gregor. Lauren, you wouldn't be a competitor in this league if you didn't want to play all the time, of course. When you kind of map out your career, when you look at where you are now in it, when do you kind of see it being your time, if that's the right way to put it?
I mean, you can't predict the future, and the only thing I can really control is my preparation per day and per week and per season. And as the opportunities come, that's kind of it's the name of the game in sports is sometimes you got to wait for your opportunities, and when those arise, you take advantage. And whether I did take advantage of those opportunities in previously in my career or not, whenever they come, I'd like to think that I'm getting better and better, and each opportunity that arises, I'm going to be more and more prepared. And then once I gain enough momentum, I'd like to think that my time has yet to come.
All right, we'll go next with Kelly Moore from CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thanks very much. Thanks for doing this, Laurent. Just wondering, with all of these 3 and 4 game series that make up the schedule, is there any advantage in terms of the goaltenders or the shooters in a situation like that? And do you see maybe more of a tendency to get more playing time as a result of the way the schedule shakes out?
Yeah, considering it's condensed, I'd like to think that it's kind of going to be one of those seasons where the tandem of a team is going to be a huge contributing factor, and obviously that's a big opportunity for me, and I'm very excited about that. But in terms of tendencies, when you see the same players often, like I said before, it's how you approach it. Some guys might find it a bit of a nuisance, but some guys might pre-scout a lot and find little intricacies of someone else's game and pick up on it and use it to their advantage.
And we'll go back to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Ken.
Thank you. Lauren, just what was your focus in the off season, and how do you get back to kind of how the way you played 2 years ago and at the end of last year when you kind of found your groove again?
For me, I went back to the basics. I kind of I reestablished my foundation and did a lot of very, very simple things and at a very, very high number of repetitions in those things, and just tried to get as many foundational things to be subconscious as I can, and then incrementally added a bit of dynamicness. So I'm feeling as good as I ever have, and probably even better than I did in the training camp 2 seasons ago. So I'm very excited that I'm moving forward in a positive way.
Awesome. Thanks very much, LB.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Alrighty, so Connor Hellebuck and Trevor Lewis will be up shortly. Thank you.